Alright, so I thought I'd just make a super quick video to show what's inside this 300 watt power inverter I got off of Amazon for like 20 bucks. I opened it up because I wanted to see if I could run it off of more than 12 volts. And first thing is I notice is that the input caps are 16 volt. So not going to work over, 24 volts or anything over 16 is probably going to blow these things up. And I noticed it's missing a couple components, and it looks like this one, it may be that that you can pulse width mod it to lower the voltage from 24 volts down to 12 volts. So when the input to the transformer is only 12 volts. So if we look at it, it's pretty basic. It's got two MOSFETs here that are used to create the AC from the 12 volts into the transformer. And then the transformer on this side, it's got an output cap, and then it's got these diodes to turn it into straight DC, and then it's got these four MOSFETs that are used to turn the 160 volt DC from the transformer into AC. And so then it's got two DC to DC converters here for the USB charging, which is 5 volts. And it's like, I saw there was two of them, and it's like, why is it over here? But I guess that's just the way the board's laid out. And so here's a processor. I can't read any numbers on it. You can't buy these on Amazon anymore. They now have a 500 watt one that's made, I think, from the same company. Refrigerator compressor motor into 3-phase DC. And I was thinking maybe I could use one of these to do that, because they're cheap, just, So I'm thinking if I could replace this processor board with my own, and then all I need to do is pretty much add two more MOSFETs to get 3-phase output instead of single phase DC. Then I could power this motor. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what these are. These are somehow driver. I don't know why there's 6 of them though. So that's a mystery. Anyway, hopefully someone will find that useful, even though you can't buy these anymore. But I got a couple other ones too. I haven't taken them apart yet. Okay, so I tore this. I tore the second this other inverter. This is a Best Tech 150 watt. So it's half the watts of the other one, the red one, the 300 watt one. But I looked at the chips on it, and the MOSFET for the 12 volt is actually much better. It's 60 volts versus 40 volts on the other one, and the resistance is a little less. And I looked at the 120 volt ones, and the resistance on these is pretty bad actually, but maybe that's the problem. But I think the issue really is for the ranking of the power is there's no heat sink on this one. The FETs here are just hanging in the breeze, There's no heat sink. It's aluminum case, but it's got no heat sink. But what's exciting to me about this one is if you look on the back, you can see the 12 volt input is completely isolated from the high voltage through the transformer. So there's a processor here that's running the input, the 12 volt input into here, and then there's another processor that's running the output. So for me to and it's also on this nice little separate circuit board, so for me to change the processor here would be really easy. So I think this is the board, and you can buy these still too. So I think this is a board I want to mess with. I mean, refrigerator generally only needs 100 watts to run the compressor, so this is more than enough power for that. And the fact that I can just unsolder this little circuit board and attach my own processor is perfect. I mean, I guess you could even put some heat sinks on it. I don't know how much this transformer can handle, but anyway, I made some more progress winding my motor, just by the way. So yeah, you know, because what I'm thinking is, rather than try and rewire the motor from a single phase, I could just put in some permanent magnets, leave the existing winding, and then take the 12 volt inverter and then modify the software so it has slow start, and change the frequency of the two-phase. I think then I could produce a very, you know, this thing was 20 bucks. I could produce a very inexpensive 12 volt refrigerator setup. So I'm excited to see this. Glad I tore it apart and I could show it to you compared to the other one. But anyway, so there you go.